Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS. Today we are going to solve a tough question of CSAT 2023. Okay, first what I'll do, I'll solve it like I usually do. That is how I would solve it. Of course it will be very fast. Then we learn the underlying concepts that I use. That is the later part. Right now let me just solve for you. So the question says, what is the remainder if 2 power 192 is divided by 6? Okay, so I need to find remainder when 2 power 192 is divided by 6. So simply I can write it as 2 into 2 power 191 upon 6. Now I can cancel it. It is 1, 3. What have I cancelled it with? 2. So I will write 2 separately. Now what I am left with? 2 power 191 by 3. Now 2 divided by 3 will give me a remainder of minus 1. Minus 1 power 191 would be anything odd to the power minus 1 will give us a remainder of minus 1. Correct? Now minus 1 remainder in case of 3 would be equivalent to what? It will be equivalent to remainder of 2. Now don't forget the one that you cancelled. So you multiply it back here. What you get is 2 into 2 is equals to 4. This is your final answer. So your answer would be 4. Okay. This is how you should be solving in the exam. But of course, you are not well versed right now how I did all of this. Like this was hardly a few seconds. In fact, this was just to show you that it is short. Otherwise, it's oral. Okay. Then let's learn the concepts behind it. Okay. So that you become the person solving like this. Okay. First concept that we need to understand is with respect to remainders. First is when we have to find remainder of, let's say, A into B into C divided by some number, then we can distribute it. Remainder has distributive property. For example, if I need to find remainder of, let's say, 91 into 93 into 97 by 4. Okay, I need to find their remainder when it is divided by 4. Now one way of it can be to just multiply them all and then find the remainder, but it will be very lengthy, so we won't be doing this. Okay, what we can do is we just distribute it like this. So this can also be written as remainder when 91 is divided by 4 into remainder when 93 is divided by 4 into remainder when 97 is divided by 4. So simply what it will be, 91 divided by 4, what it will be? Nearest multiple 88. So remainder will be 3. Now you just multiply all these remainders. So 93 divided by 4, nearest multiple of 4, 92. So remainder will be 1. Now this divided by 4, 97 divided by 4, nearest multiple 92 then 96. So this remainder will also be 1. Now 3 into 1 into 1 will give you remainder 3. Understood? Okay, what if let's say here instead of this 97 I had 99. I had what? I had 99. Now what will happen? If I had 99, then this remainder when 99 will be divided by 4, nearest multiple is 96. So remainder will be 3. Correct? So now it's 3 into 1 into 3. What it will get us to? Now 3 into 1 into 3 will get us to 9. But when any number gets divided by 4, can it give remainder 9? No, because the remainder is always less than the divisor. correct? So remainder for 4. Otherwise, if it is 9, then you can further divide it, right? So what you can do here is the remainder when something is divided by 4 can be only 0, 1, 2 or 3. Correct? It cannot be 4 or anything above 4. So now what you need to do, once you get to this 9, you divide it by 4 again. 9 divided by 4 will again give you remainder 1. So this is what our final answer is. Understood the difference? So first in that we directly got 3. So 3 when divided by 4 will remainder will be 3 only. So that's fine. But when a bigger number comes here, what you need to do? You need to just divide it further and you get the final answer. So first concept is this only, that remainders are distributive in nature. Understood? Now this is first concept. Then this is the second concept. Okay, see, in remainder questions you can cancel the terms in numerator and denominator. Okay, that means you can cancel the terms up and down provided you multiply them at the end. That is, if something like this is written, let's say 98 into 42 divided by let's say 15. Correct? Now something like this is written. So what you can do is, when you are finding remainder of this, you can simply cancel it up and down. Like if you see here, 4 plus 2 6, 5 plus 1 6, so they are both divisible by 3. 14 3s are 42 and 3 5s are 15, so they are both divisible by 3. So you just cut them. This is 5 times divisible, this is divisible how many times? 1 and 4. So here you get 14, here you get 5. Now further can it be divided? No. Correct? Further it cannot be divided. So what you do? You write multiplied by 3. Okay, on the side. Now you can continue finding the remainder. Okay, how you would find the remainder? Now we have learned that it is distributive in nature. So what you do? You will find remainder like this: 98 into 14 divided by 5. We can distribute it, correct? So 98 divided by 5, what remainder will be? 95 is the multiple of 5, correct? So remainder will be 3. Then 14 divided by 5, what the remainder will be? Remainder will be 4. So 3 into 4, what you get? You get 12. Once you get 12, again it is greater than 5. So what you do? You divide it again by 5. What remainder you get? 12 divided by 5. 12 divided by 5, remainder is 2. But this is not the final answer. If you mark this, you will get minus marking, because 2 is not the correct answer. The correct answer will only come when you take this 2, which we got after calculating everything. Don't forget that you cancelled this 3. So you must multiply it with 3 again. Understood? You must multiply it with 3 again. That is what is written. In remainder questions, you can cancel the terms in numerator and denominator. You can cancel, provided you multiply them at the end. But at the end, you must multiply it. So 2 into 3 would be what? Would be 6. Correct? 2 into 3 would be 6. Now this is the remainder when 98 into 42, this number gets divided by 15, it leaves remainder 6. Understood? What you have to do? So initially, to make our calculations easy, we just cancel it out. But of course this is not right. This is just a trick, so to say. So you must introduce it back. Cancel it, calculate it, easy. Then you just multiply it back and get the final answer. Understood? So this is the second concept. First concept you understood, it can be distributed. Second concept, you understood that you can cancel out the terms but you must multiply them at the end to get the final remainder, final answer. These two concepts are clear? Okay. Just the third concept that you need to learn, then you will be able to solve it like me. Okay. See, the concept of negative remainder. What is this negative remainder? See, it's a beautiful concept. What you generally do, let's say you divide 17 by, let's say you divide 17 by 3. Okay. Now how you usually write it? You write it like this. 3 would go 5 times in 17 and then you would subtract minus 15. Correct? And what you get? 2. Now you call this 2 as remainder. This is what you do from your childhood days when you were a small child, running here and there. So at that time you must have learned that you eventually get to a remainder of 2 whatever remains. Now at that time you didn't know, but this is actually a positive remainder. Then what is a negative remainder? What you were doing here, you were taking 17 and seeing what is the nearest multiple of 3 from 17 and you got the positive remainder. Now you take this again, divided by 3. Now you think of the nearest multiple of 3 that is more than 17. So 15 was what? Nearest multiple of 17 but less than 17. Instead, now we are looking for a nearest multiple of 3 which is more than 17. Which is more than 17. Exactly next multiple is 18. So this is a multiple of 3 which is just bigger than the number. So now what we will do, we will say that it goes 6 times. Just look at it like a mathematical process. Okay. Now we say that it goes 6 times and you subtract 18 from it. Now what you get? You get minus 1. Now this is the negative remainder. Understood? This positive remainder, you know since your birth. Once that placenta was cut, what to know about positive remainders? No, but you have learned this in your school days. This is something that you can learn now, that you just take one bigger number and just subtract it and you get to negative remainder. Correct? Now remainder is 2, negative remainder is minus 1. Now if in any question it is asked what is the remainder, then what we should be choosing, negative 1 or positive 1. So all that confusion is not there. They are actually equivalent. So when this 17 was divided by 3, the remainders that you got, that is minus 1 and 2, these are actually equivalent in case of this division. These are equivalent in nature. So minus 1, you say 17 divided by 3 yields remainder minus 1, or you say 17 divided by 3 yields remainder 2. That is exactly the same thing. Okay. In fact, it works for any kind of division. Let's take another one. Let's say you divide 19 by 7. Correct? 19 by 7. Now if you normally divide it, it goes 2 times, minus 14, you get 5 remainder. Now for negative remainder, what we'll do? 97. What we'll do? Just one bigger one. So what is that? 7 3s are 21. What remainder you get? Minus 2. Now for this division, this 5 remainder is equivalent to minus 2. Correct? Can you observe a pattern? Okay, let me tell you. See, when you were dividing a number by 3, okay, minus 1 and 2 were equivalent. Okay. Now if you just forget the sign, then wasn't it 1 and 2? So 1 plus 2 made 3. Similarly, if you just Forget the sign here also. When you are dividing it by 5, when you are dividing it by 7, what are the remainders that you are getting? You are getting 5 and minus 2. Forget the minus sign. What are you getting? 5 plus 2, 7. Correct? So, actually, the sum of absolute value of positive and negative remainder is equals to the divisor. But this is just complex thing. Thing is, it's very simple. Whenever you divide anything by 7, these are the equivalent pairs. Let's start with this. This we already know, 5 and minus 2. Okay. Similarly, there will be one more. Like this is also an equivalent pair. Let's say 6 would be equivalent to what? Minus 1. 6 would be equivalent to minus 1. So 6 plus 1 again 7. Then look, 4 would be equivalent to minus 3. Because again 4 plus 3, 7. Similarly, you can make all kinds of pair. Like the just opposite pair can also be made. So 2 is equivalent to, forget the sign, minus 5 remainder. That is, if I tell you any negative remainder, how you will find the positive remainder? You just add 7 in it. Okay, negative remainder is given to you. You see how far is it from 7. You just add 7 to it, you can get to it. Or if you are given positive remainder, again check, the sum should be 7. That's how you create equivalence. Forget the sign, see the equivalence. If it is 5, there will be 2. If it is 5 here, there will be 2 here. 4 here, 3 here, 6 here, minus 1 here. 6 here, 1 here. Just think like this and just add one sign. This is positive and negative remainder. Understood? Now this concept sometimes helps you a lot in solving a question. For example, let's say this. You need to find, simple example we are taking, the remainder when 27 multiplied 4 times is divided by 4. You need to find the remainder. Now, one way, the old way, what we do, it is always distributive. That was the first concept that we learned. So 27 by 4 would be 3, 27 by 4 again 3, 27 by 4 again 3, 27 by 4 again 3. Correct? Now 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27, 27 3s are 81. So now you get to 81. Now 81 when you divide by 4, what you get? 81 divided by 4, what you get? You know 80 is a multiple of 4, so you get remainder as 1. This is your final answer. Now instead, I'll tell you how with negative remainder you can do it much faster. See how? 27 divided by 4. 3 is the positive remainder. What is the negative remainder? By just looking at it, you know the nearest multiple of 4 from 27 is 28. Just bigger. What's the difference? It is minus 1. So the remainder is minus 1. Or you can also see that 3 and minus 1 make up there, like 3 plus 1 is 4. So you can get to minus 1. Now 27 divided by 4, nearest multiple was 28. We get to remainder minus 1. So this is minus 1. The second one is also minus 1. Third one is also minus 1. The fourth one is also minus 1. Now you multiply minus 1 4 times. What you get? Even number of times if you multiply any negative number, you get positive number only. So the remainder is 1. Correct? Not even this calculation was needed. Why? Because you saw all minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 was there. 4 times it is multiplied, you get to 1. Now you see, if I increase number of 27, if I write it like 6, 7 times, now what you have to do? 3 is smaller than 4, so further you can't divide. So you have to write it completely, then divide and get to the answer. Instead, when you use negative remainder, it's just minus 1 power. Now minus 1 power, you see, it is even, then it's positive 1. If it is odd, then it is negative 1. Simple. And negative 1 would be again equivalent to 3. So you say remainder would be 3 if it was negative. Understood? Simple. So this is how negative remainders work. Got it? Pakka? Then now see how I did this question. Now see. See, 2 power 192 divided by 6. Now, by concept, these three concepts that we have learned. First is distribution. Second is you can cancel out, but you must introduce it later in the answer. And the third is of negative remainder. Now see how we will use all these. Now you know that if it were just 2 and divided by 6, you can cancel out something. So we will get 1 2 out of it. So 2 power 192 can be written as 2 power 1 into 2 power 191 by 6. Correct? This we can write. Okay, just distributed it. Now 2 and 6 can be cancelled out. Okay, so 2 1s are 2 and here you get 3. Correct? Now what have you cancelled? You write it on the side. So into 2 you write on the side that once you are done with the question, done with the calculation part, you must introduce multiplication by 2 before you give the final answer. Otherwise you get negative marking. Okay, so now the question becomes, we have to find the remainder of 2 power 191 divided by 3. Don't be bogged down by these powers. See what it is. It is actually 2 power 191 is what? 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. How many times? How many times? This is written 191 times. Correct? This is just 2 written 191 times. Now see what we do. Now see. Now, if 2 is written 191 times, this by remainders distributive property we know that we can see them separately also. So 2 divided by 3 will give you what? 2 divided by 3 will give you remainder of 2 divided by 3. Negative remainder, think in terms of negative remainder. Otherwise, what's the point of all this? Okay. So negative remainder 2 divided by 3 can give you a negative remainder of minus 1. What is the multiple of 2? Just above 3, 4. And 3 minus 4 is minus 1. So this is minus 1. Again you multiply same remainder minus 1 into minus 1. How many times we will go? Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 like this. How many times we will go? We will go 191 times. So eventually you will get to minus 1 power 191. Once you get to minus 1 power 191, what you get? Once you get to this minus 1 power 191, you get, because this is odd, so odd, in odd what happens? It will become minus only. So this becomes minus 1. Correct? Now, what did I tell you? Do not forget that a 2 was also there. Also, this minus 1 is equivalent to what? We did it in other questions also. So minus 1 remainder is equivalent to, we need to make it 3. So 1, what else? 1, 2. 1 plus 2 will make 3. So minus 1 remainder is equivalent to 2 remainder. Understood? So remainder is 2 from here, from solving this. But we must not forget him, otherwise you get it wrong. So then you multiply it with 2 that you cancelled out earlier. Now when you multiply them both, you get 2 into 2, that is 4. So your final answer would be fairly simple. Once you know all these concepts, then it can be done within seconds. Otherwise, all the shorts that you see, that I will help you solve CSAT difficult questions in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, Those are only possible when you know the concept. Otherwise, it's just this trick, that trick. Okay. Now you have understood all the 3 underlying concepts. If I were to do it, I can even do it orally. How? I see 2 power 192. So I see that 2 I must separate and cancel it with 6. So that I did, and I would remember that I had to multiply with 2 eventually. Now 2 power 191, I know 2 divided by 3, I can directly write also. 2 divided by 3 will give me remainder minus 1. They are all in multiplication. Minus 1 power 191, that is minus 1 only. Now minus 1 is equivalent to 2 remainder. So that this 2 I get, and that 2 also I remember. So 2 into 2 I'll get to 4. Okay, understood? Now you can also do like this. These were the 3 underlying concepts. Hope you like the lecture. Thank you.